The following is a presentation of the Best Station. The views and comments made in the following program do not necessarily represent the views and comments of the Best Station.
Welcome, everyone, to Show 6 of The Fast Pitch.
I am Eric Lindenberg.
I am your co-host, MC Brown.
And this is Game 6 of The Fast Pitch.
Welcome, everyone. I want to thank you all for listening. We can be reached at The Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Fast Pitch, which is our homepage, under the umbrella of Facebook.com/The Best Station. And we want to thank our good friend, Craig Best, who is a good personal longtime friend of this show.
Yeah,
and without his help, we would not be here.
Best producer I know in the business.
You got that right. So, we're going to jump right into it. We know as a staple here on The Fast Pitch, we jump right into Social Media Lounge with our social media feedback. We got some good ones, and we just want to mention to you, this is the place for MLB news. This is the place for MLB topical discussions. If you're wondering about, hey, what did I just get myself into? You're listening to The Fast Pitch, which is a show about MLB, Major League Baseball, featuring myself and Dr. Eric Lindenberg, the
And
doctor
by
of
the way,
baseball.
this is our year-end review show.
Yes.
2015 in review.
We're kind of wrapping it up. We don't have any awards or anything, but we're going to talk about where this leads after this, after we get done with some social media stuff. So, yeah, we just want to let everyone know, thank you for listening, and this is the place to listen to for any and everything MLB.
Everything MLB, and we are up to date, up to speed, so let's get into it.
And jump right into it. So we got some tweets and we get some messages. Again, these are messages we're sent. We don't have a whole lot of. I'm not bashing our listeners or anything. We love all of them. But these are specific messages sent, and I think it's just because maybe they don't want their handles out there, even though I'm going to reveal them. Maybe they don't want anybody retweeted. Maybe they don't want to be called out by Dr. Eric, but they are specific towards Dr. Eric.
And I may call him out because they've certainly been attacking me in recent
If he
weeks.
had a Twitter, he would, folks. He is the doctor of baseball, and these are for the doctor himself. So I'm going to jump right in. Our first one from Dodger Dog 57 Hines. This gentleman or gentlewoman asks, Casimir, eh? That's it? How are we going to compete, Doc?
That's a good question.
Reveal to them what they're talking about.
Yeah, the person is talking about Scott Casimir, who was signed by the Dodgers, 3 years, $48 million. Adding him to the staff after losing Zach Greinke is just a poor substitution. So how you're going to compete? Well, you're not going to compete yet. Not in the AL West.
Kind of an incomplete project, you'd say.
Right, and we'll be talking about Casimir in a few minutes.
Yes, we will. We will be doing some Major League wrap-up coming up shortly. So, our second tweet I have here, Glucose Fructose, LA Hater Jack 12, asks, long name, enjoy the cellar, Eric? Oh, no, excuse me. Enjoy the cellar, Eric. Dodgers will bow to the pitching-rich snakes of Sunshine Valley. Wow.
Yeah, here we go again.
Firing right at you, these Diamondback fans.
Here we go again, the Diamondback fans.
Yeah.
Well,
it's always a one in a bunch, I've noticed.
yes, and let me just say, Zach Greinke, Shelby Miller do not translate into a division championship. Dodgers have won it 3 years in a row. Let's just see what they pull out next.
I don't know if they're done, but yeah, that's a couple. That's a 1-2 punch for you, though.
Yeah, I know. And the Dodgers have been very slow in this market. Casimir was the first free agent they signed. So, well, my answer is let's see what happens.
Okay, it's a LA hater. It's in his name.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a Facebook message for us. I'm going to go right to you before.
Yeah, I did. I have been getting Facebook messages every week from people. This one is from SS Blondie in Tempe, Arizona.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume someone named Blondie is a woman. So she
Let's
says
hope.
this is the most real baseball show she's ever heard.
Oh.
So big plus for us.
Yeah, that's nice.
And,
That's
SS
it?
Blondie sounds like a sleek, beautiful ship cruising on the high seas, doesn't it, MC?
Somebody's looking for a date tonight. Yeah,
That's
okay,
the only
well,
Facebook message to read this week.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, before I read this last tweet, I want to let you know, at the Fast Pitch, MLB is our Twitter, and Facebook.com / the Fast Pitch. We want your feedback, so we're encouraging it big time. We're not getting quite as much as we want, so we're going to do a little something later in the show to give a little reward. And,
Absolutely, for our listeners.
I'm not going to reveal right now,
Right.
but pay close attention to the show, folks. We're going to reward our listeners for sure. We will be doing that. So our last tweet in this social media round here, another one, coincidentally, for I would imagine for the doctor. Okay, so at Yankees Forever 27, and he reveals that he is a 7-year-old, Nathan. Chapman hours. Dodgers sad, you lose. Look at
Now I have a 7-year-old
Yeah.
attacking me.
Yeah, well, that's what he says.
Okay,
He's
well,
a Yankees fan, this
a
kid.
Yankees fan, of course.
What is he talking about here?
He's talking about Aroldis Chapman being
Okay.
traded to the Yankees for 4 prospects.
Fresh off the news wire here.
Right,
this
and
week.
well, all I can say is good luck. Chapman is a great reliever, but so is Kenley Jansen. So let's see who's in the cellar next year.
We'll talk a little bit about that. I do want to mention your restraint against these people who are blatantly just needling you
Yes,
week
and
after week.
you have seen me when you needle me. I have no
I
restraint.
don't know what you're talking about. I don't believe I've ever needled you, but these fans are like hyenas on you. So, yeah, very, very complimentary of your restraint.
It's a whole pack of snakes coming after me.
Maybe you'll
basically.
turn over a new leaf, though. I don't know if our next show you might be as kind, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about. We hope that everybody's Christmas was great and their holiday season is going great. Obviously, this is our last show of 2015. Our next show, this is a perfect segue. Our next show is going to be a 2016 preview show, where we will go over reports and moves of all teams in the major leagues.
Right.
And this is going to be a fun show we have the next one.
It is, and I want to remind people, spring training, players report in only 5 weeks, and the first game is in 7 weeks. It's right around the corner
coming,
already.
Everything. Right around the corner, for sure. How many days till opening day?
That would be February 28th, so that means 60 days.
6 days, I thought I read the
60
other day
days,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah, so we're right in that mode. So, yeah, so I believe it's we got 30 major league teams, right?
Right.
So we're
Actually, I'm sorry, it's 90 days
90
till opening
days,
day,
okay.
March 28th.
Yeah, so we basically have a nice show lined up. It's going to be chock full of news. We're going to recap. We're going to give our little thoughts on where these teams might be headed. We may even do some predictions early. I mean, I'm not going to say we're going to do official ones that we would jot down as our predictions, but we can definitely rank where these teams are
Yeah, we
headed
can
as of right now.
We can certainly talk about that, especially all these Diamondback fans who are attacking me. Let's see what I predict for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, and speaking of them, they and this is going to lead into our Major League Newswire here. The Diamondbacks tried to find a spot for this man, but they could not. They didn't have either the money allocated or the spot. One of the major moves this past week or two, that since our last news show, was Mike Leake signing with the Cardinals.
Yes, Mike Leake, a product of Arizona State University, and the Diamondbacks were in the hunt for him. And as you just said, MC, maybe it was a money issue, maybe not. But Leake went from the Reds to the Giants at the trading deadline last year. Wasn't really effective for the Giants and then was injured. But he is a solid major league pitcher. He eats up a lot of innings. And he's also the best hitting pitcher in baseball right now.
He really wanted to play for his Diamondbacks, but
He really
they just
did.
could not find a spot for him.
Right.
And you would think they could have made some spot in the back end of the rotation. It'd be a pretty strong guy to have it there, but unfortunately they couldn't get a deal done.
And he was a number 1 starter with the Reds, and he would be a number 4 starter with the Diamondbacks.
And that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But they couldn't find a spot for him. They're happy with their 2 young starters at the back end of the rotation. I think, one of them is De La Rosa.
De La Rosa.
Is it Ruby, right?
Ruby De La Rosa, yeah.
Who's the 5th starter of the Diamondbacks. No?
Robbie Ray.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you knew. You're the doctor. On the spot, folks. I just put him on the spot, and he just pulled it right out of the hat. Okay, so we're going to get back. We touched on these in our tweets a little bit, but they're major enough. We need to recap what exactly went down. Dr. Eric, can you recap? You touched on it mostly, but we just go back for the Dodgers and Kazmir. Do you have any details on that
I do.
Actual move?
I do. The Dodgers signed Kazmir to a 3-year, $48 million deal. But they gave him the option to opt out of the deal after 2016.
Wow.
This is the same clause that Zach Greinke had. He had the ability to opt out after this past season, which he did. Now, those two pitchers are not even, you shouldn't mention them in the same category, really. However, what if Kazmir has a stellar season? What if he has an outstanding year? Obviously, he'll be big money on the free agent market. He will opt out. Now, the Dodgers general manager said they're okay with that because they have a group of 4 young starters who, quote, could contribute in 2016. Could contribute. They're talking about Julio Urias and Jose De Leon and a couple other guys, but I think it's a bad mistake. Time will tell. But Kazmir, over his career, he'll be 32 on opening day. He's 98-90 with a 3.96 earned run average over 11 seasons. He has been an all-star 3 times, but last couple of years, he's been a solid pitcher, but not the kind of guy that you want to give $48 million to.
His strikeouts are up there too. Usually with him, he's an innings eater, of course, but
Right.
I think with him, it's his ERA did rise.
It did, and he's had injuries over his career.
Yeah, it's another problem. Exactly, the injuries. I think with Tampa, right, that he had missed some time with them
And
too.
initially, when he came up with the Mets,
Yeah.
he had arm injuries, and I feel like this is a desperation move by the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to get what's left because most of the pitchers are signed. As we're going to discuss on this newswire, is a lot of those hitters are still out there. I think we could toss out names as we're on the air right now, as we're going to air and recording this.
Yeah, let me mention one last thing about this move.
Yes.
This gives the Dodgers a starting rotation of 5 left-handed pitchers: Clayton Kershaw, Brett Anderson, Alex Wood, Kazmir, and Jin Hyun Ryu, if he comes back from his injury, and there's
true.
all indications he will. 5 left-handed starters. What do you think about that?
I think that's really amazing to think that they can throw out 5 really good quality left-handers and you don't have anybody in the middle to break that up.
No, and maybe it doesn't matter to some managers and teams, but I would want to have a couple of right-handers in there.
There's a lot of teams that will stack the box on them with right-handers.
Right-handed batters, yeah.
And
So
then
that's
big bats, right-handed bats, just be teeing off. I don't hate to just pull this name out, but the Cubs are notorious for having a lot of strong right-handed bats with Bryant, Schwarber.
That's
you have
right.
Russell coming up, and now Hayward. So you're going to have a lot of. I believe he's right-handed, right?
Yeah, he is. He's a switch hitter.
Yeah, he's a switch hitter. So I mean,
I just believe
Rizzo,
that,
but you got with that team alone could just be teeing off on the left.
And they'll all stack right-handers. The thing is, I have to believe that after the first month of the season, if that's happening, the Dodgers have to go out and get a right-handed starter or 2.
And the season the off season is not over yet. So as we were alluding to, and just to throw out some names first, big bats still available before I jump into some of the actual moves we've done. We have Chris Davis still available, Justin Upton. We also have Denard Span, I don't believe has signed yet. Cespedes,
Yoenis Cespedes. Yes, I am the pronunciation
You are
master
the
here.
pronunciation king, and those are huge bats. One of the big names that we had mentioned in past shows is off the market, and that would be Daniel Murphy.
He is.
Signed
And that's
with the
Washington
Nationals.
Nationals. And I knew that the Mets were making a big play to keep him, but he got a great deal from the Nationals, and there he goes. Nationals are
Mr.
trying to
Clutch.
improve.
Yeah, they have signed Stephen Drew as well.
That's right.
Another couple moves just to put it up there. John Jaso signed with the Pirates. I believe that was a 2-year deal. We had the aforementioned Yankees making that trade. 4 prospects for Chapman.
4 prospects.
And Chapman was almost a Los Angeles Dodgers, and you had a couple thoughts on that, right? Why
Yes.
that didn't happen?
The Dodgers revealed today, after Chapman signed with the Yankees, Dodgers general manager said that they were making a serious pitch at him, but when he had his domestic violence legal issue down in Florida, they backed off. And the other thing is, Kenley Jansen was very vocal with the Dodgers. Now they revealed today.
Yes.
He was very unhappy if they obtained Chapman. He did not want to relinquish the closer's role and actually talked about demanding a trade if the Chapman
Oh,
deal
yeah,
came
that's
through.
something
That's big.
we discussed with you. I was probably more so off the air, I think, because we didn't touch too much on the Chapman stuff before. And that was, how would they do it? Yeah, I mean, you could feel confident that, hey, that everybody would fall in line, but that's not the case with Major League Baseball players
Not at all.
who take pride in their spot, especially a closer who's done such a great job like Jansen has.
He's been automatic for the last 3 years.
And for last but not least, just another gentleman who almost signed with the Dodgers and looks like always a bridesmaid, but never the bride with the Dodgers here is Iwakuma, re-signed with the Mariners.
Iwakuma re-signed. Now the Dodgers,
How do you say his first name again?
Hisashi.
Hisashi. Doctor of Baseball, always here for me.
The Dodgers,
Hisashi Iwakuma, excuse me, is re-signed with the Mariners.
Yeah, Dodgers had signed him and then rejected the deal based on a physical, but he has re-signed with the Mariners. The thing about the Dodgers, and you mentioned always a bridesmaid.
Yeah.
Excuse me. In past years, they've had no problem shelling out money and signing people. They still have the money, but I believe they're a day late, $1 short in all these free agents.
Dodger Nation, not a favorable destination, or either that or just not having good luck, whether it be Chapman, Iwakuma. I know they're trying to, I think the last bit of news was they're possibly in the hunt to re-sign Howie Kendrick, but that's still ongoing too, so we don't know where that's going to lead. But
Well,
a lot of big news.
This last season, Kendrick was someone who batted cleanup for the Dodgers quite a bit, and that was a big problem for the Dodgers. A cleanup hitter. All year it was somebody different.
Second baseman and batting cleanup, you don't see
Yeah,
that too
yeah.
much, yeah. But yeah, that's going to wrap up our news wire here. We're going to be heading to station break, but stay tuned. Our next show, we're going to have a whole show chock full of moves. We're going to kind of recap what each team has done. They're basically their major moves, and it's going to be a fun show.
Yes, it is. So we'll be right back.
We'll be right back, but right before I go to this break, of course, we got a regular segment. We can't forget about that. The Who Am I segment.
Yes, a very popular segment.
We're going to
on
go,
here for
we
the
definitely
listeners.
get a lot of feedback on it, which is good. And we're going to go to Who Am I, and right before station break, so I'm going to give you a few clues. So stay tuned. After these clues, we're going to go ahead to station break, and then I will come back and reveal who it is. So here it is. Who am I? I won the Cy Young Award for 2 different teams in 1992, 93, 94, and 95. I won the Gold Glove a record-setting 18 times, 13 of which 13 in a row. I am the only pitcher in MLB history to win at least 15 games for 17 straight seasons. Who am I? We will have that reveal when we return.
With a name like the best station, it has to be good.
Men, nothing takes it off like Noxema medicated shave. Take it off. Take it all off. Nothing takes it off like Noxema medicated shave.
The closer you shave, the more you need Noxema. Noxema medicated comfort shave.
Finding a phone in a car isn't that unusual anymore, except when it leaves the car for greener pastures, the high seas, or a leisurely lunch. Radio Shack keeps you in constant communication with their affordable, transportable cellular telephone.
Hello? Oh, yes, he's right here. It's for you.
Yes, I heard about the merger. Buy 100 shares.
The affordable, transportable cellular telephone, only at Radio Shack.
Have your dogs gotten tired of the same old dog biscuits? Then it's time for Jonathan Papelbon's Dog Relief Biscuit Treats. Shaped just like a real baseball, these treats are guaranteed not to choke your pet, or there's a 4-day money-back guarantee. Developed after Papelbon's own dog, Boss, choked while eating the last out ball from the 2004 World Series when Papelbon pitched for the Red Sox. Jonathan Papelbon's Dog Relief Biscuit Treats, available at pet stores nationwide.
And we are back. And I have our Who Am I reveal. Our Who Am I this week's show, Greg Maddux, the esteemed professor himself, Mad Dog.
And those were very impressive numbers you read. Very impressive.
That only just scratch the surface of all the accomplishments of this first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer who never threw the ball above 90 miles an hour.
Greg Maddux, one of the elite pitchers of all time. Just that amazing record-setting 18 Gold Gloves. That's just impressive.
Yeah.
And that's just fielding stats. What he's did on the mound was just incredible. One of my favorite all-time players, and just a class act.
Won close to 350 games.
Yeah, just a huge, what a great ambassador for baseball. So the professor, Greg Maddux, is our Who Am I reveal. And being a first ballot Hall of Famer, it segues right into our discussion here, which is kind of our social media kind of discussion of the week here. We have, we've been talking about this leading to this. Next week is the Hall of Fame finalists.
Right, January 5th, they reveal the votes.
And we had some big names on this ballot for the first time. Ken Griffey Jr. is headlining this list, and what we want to know is he unanimous to you? At the Fast Pitch MLB is our Twitter, Facebook.com/thefastpitch. And again, we want to thank Craig Best of Facebook.com/thebeststation, and we want to hear your feedback.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr., I have talked to a few of the baseball writers who vote on this, and they are saying that Griffey Jr. may be the first ever unanimous selection.
And I would think between all of us, first ballot for sure, but we want to hear from you guys. Do you believe Ken Griffey Jr. should be unanimous? Do you believe he's a lock for the Hall of Fame? We do, certainly. And we got other names on there. We got Trevor Hoffman, the great reliever.
I believe Trevor Hoffman is definitely a first ballot.
I would believe he's got to be up there. We got Edgar Martinez, primarily DH. Billy Wagner, the closer. I believe he finished his career with the Phillies, was it?
Phillies. And the thing is about Wagner,
Astros as well.
Mentioning him in the same conversation with Hoffman, they were not comparable. Hoffman put up better numbers, had a longer career, and was more effective.
Yeah, those are just, I think, the top of the list there. We also got some names that are being that are still on this list, and you want to tell us a couple of those names?
Right, Mike Piazza, as we discussed on a previous show.
Yes.
There's a lot of people who are suspicious of him, suspected of PED use, but he was never, ever found to have a dirty urine for PED. Nothing like that. And his numbers should make him a Hall of Famer.
Jeff Bagwell.
Now the opposite here. Bagwell put up great numbers, but a lot of suspicion about him being on PEDs. The difference between the two is Piazza never changed physically. His physique never changed over the years. Bagwell became huge as though he was lifting weights day and night.
Bagwell definitely had one of the rocks, I think, just one of those just chiseled out of stone physiques, I think, in his prime.
And he didn't have that when he came up his first 4 or 5 years.
He was definitely, I would say, he was built like a rock. Alan Trammell, I believe.
Alan Trammell, yes.
Final name on our list of recurring names, I believe.
Right. Coach with the Arizona Diamondbacks right now, but he played 17 years with the Detroit Tigers. He was part of that long-time double play combination, Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker. He put up Hall of Fame numbers, but it's been so long since he played, I think a lot of writers overlook him.
I know, and we want to hear from you guys. Who's on your list? Tweet us at the Fast Pitch MLB, Facebook.com/the Fast Pitch. We want to hear from you guys, so we definitely want to make this a huge discussion. It's going to lead into, if not the next show, it will definitely be 2 shows out. We'll have those names for you. We'll be revealing everything that has anything to do with Canton, and it's going to be fun. We've discussed in the past, Griffey. Cooperstown. Yes, not Canton. I'm thinking football. We're going to discuss everything to do with Canton. We're going to Cooperstown. Sorry, we're going to keep mentioning Canton. Ken Griffey Jr. All things Junior. we also mentioned this before, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Should they be permanently banned? What are your thoughts? Do you believe that neither one of them should ever be in this discussion? Do you believe they should be eligible eventually? Do you believe with the Hall of Fame ban? I mean, these are discussions that are happening around the water
and there is
coolers,
a
around
lot of
coffee
discussion
tables.
about both of them.
And we want to hear from you guys. I mean, just for example, Dr. Eric, what are your thoughts? Do you believe either one of those?
I believe both of them
gentlemen
should be in. How do you deny the current hit king of all-time baseball? And Shoeless Joe Jackson, one of the greatest hitters ever. In fact, Ted Williams, when he first came up, modeled his swing after Shoeless Joe Jackson. And Shoeless Joe, of course, was banned from baseball after the 1919 Black Sox scandal. But he was never convicted of anything, and the other players said he was not involved.
Yeah, it's a sad story for such a great baseball player. Pete Rose, as we've discussed in our previous show, Pete Rose being banned currently is upheld. Some would say for life, but Rob Manfred has made that decision. He's saying that he's washing his hands of the Hall of Fame, but we're here to tell you the Hall of Fame basically has put in the edict that they're following whatever the commissioner's ban list is and the suspension list.
Right.
They follow suit, so they're not allowing anybody on that list to be eligible. And
Right.
do you agree with that? I mean, this is kind of our social media discussion of the week. We've been talking about it show after show. We want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel that we should be letting these players in that are banned, or do you feel, what's a big travesty to you? I mean, we've been asking this question. Certainly those two players belong on that list from stats alone. We've had certainly discussions with other players that are not on this list. I believe just our last show we were talking
Roger
about,
Clemens, Mark
Roger
McGuire,
Clemens,
people
Barry
from the
Bonds,
steroid era. People from steroid
but
era.
there was I believe it was Roger Maris, right? There was
Roger Maris is
another
not in the Hall of
huge
Fame.
name that was discussed with our esteemed
great guest, Jason K. Himmelstein.
Yes, Mr. Himmelstein discussed with us how Roger Maris, what a travesty that was. to
Yes.
him. And we want to hear from you guys, so we want to let you guys, give us some feedback. Let us know what is the biggest travesty in your mind in the Hall of Fame, and that's going to be something huge for us to discuss here. So we're going to pay the bills with one more station break, but before that, I want to introduce Trivia Appointment, a new segment here on the Fast Pitch, and this is going to be a recurring segment with Dr. Eric. Why don't you tell us about Trivia Appointment?
Trivia Appointment. We're going to be doing this contest every week with a prize going to the first listener who sends us a message on Facebook with a correct answer. So let me get right into it this week.
Yeah, so what in that prize, that's going to be a signed 8x10 of you, isn't it?
Well, that's a priceless item. I don't think you can get that for under $10,000.
Okay.
But I think they'll be happy with the prizes we
Okay,
give
all
them.
right, that sounds good. All right, so you're going to give us that first one of this week.
First question. What college did new St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Mike Leake attend? And the first person to message us with that wins this. A program from the Arizona Fall League 2015 championship game signed by this year's AFL batting champion, Adam Engel.
Wow.
Engel batted .403. He's a White Sox prospect, top prospect, and outfielder. So let's see who can come up with the right answer and win that program autographed by Adam Engel.
All right, what a great prize that we look forward to getting the answer to that trivia question. The first person to message it, Dr. Eric, is going to reward you with that beautiful gift.
Yes,
So
I will personally sign the letter that goes with
Oh,
the prize.
wow. All right. So look at that. So it might not be an 8x10, but it's the next best thing. We're going to go to our second and final station break, folks. So stay tuned. We got some big stuff coming to tell you about when we return from the station break. So stay tuned. We will be right back.
Tonight, let it be Cactus Classics.
They sure work hard, don't they, Barney?
Yeah? I hate to see them work so hard.
Yeah, me too.
Let's go around back.
Well, we can't see them.
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred.
Okay.
How's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break.
That's it.
Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend.
Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big taste difference, and only Winston has it up front where it counts. Here, ahead of the pure white filter. Winston packs rich tobaccos specially selected and specially processed for good flavor in filter smoking.
Yeah, Barney, Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
And I love the Christmas music, too. You know, have you ever heard Michael McDonald's Christmas album? You know, the Doobie Brothers, the guy with, I love him so much. He has this Christmas album that's very beautiful. I love his voice. But he has a couple of original songs on it. One is so sad. It's like, it's Christmas in the hospital. All the children are dying. Mama's in a coma and Dad had an MRI. On Christmas Eve, I had a tumor removed from my buttocks. There's a morphine drip in my arm on Christmas Eve. Merry morphine Christmas Eve. It's fantastic.
And we are back with the Fast Pitch. And before we go any further, we just want to acknowledge both myself and Dr. Eric. We worked for this gentleman who sadly this past week has passed away. We worked for him in the Seattle Mariners fantasy camp. Sadly, the baseball community has lost and is a great man and just a great ball player. And we want to acknowledge the passing of Dave Henderson this past week. And Dr. Eric's going to tell us a little bit about Dave, some of his accomplishments in baseball.
Yeah, Dave, over 14 years, played for the Mariners, Red Sox, Giants, Athletics, and Royals. He was a member of that Athletics 1989 World Series champion team. But Dave is best known for his home run in the ninth inning of the 1986 ALCS against the Angels. I know you remember this, MC.
Yes, definitely.
The Angels were 1 out away from going to their first ever World Series when Henderson hit that bomb and put the Red Sox on top. But in a personal note, MC and I knew Dave Henderson. He was a positive, gregarious man, and he will be missed by all of us.
Yeah, Hendu, as he was
Hendu,
called.
that's right.
We wanted sincere condolences to Hendu, all his family and friends.
Right, and Hendu was 57 years old.
We want to acknowledge that and send our deepest regrets and sympathies to everyone. And as we go to our next segment, we're going to go to our This Week in Baseball segment with a heavy heart, but we're gonna do it in the honor and memory of Dave Henderson.
Dave Henderson.
So we're gonna go right now to our This Week in Baseball segment. And we have some news here in the This Week in Baseball, and this is our end of the year one. So we got we're in a couple dates here for the end of the year. We're going to go back in time, and this first one we're going to go back into 1878.
That's a long way back.
Yes, this week in baseball, this day in history, December 31st, 1878, a reported 8 million bats are sold in the United States, with a population estimated at approximately 48 million. An average of 1 out of every 6 Americans owns a bat.
Pretty amazing, and that was the advent of baseball. It was created in 1869, professional baseball.
That is pretty crazy
Wow.
for sure, yes. So we're also going to stay on that date, December 31st. We're going to go all the way back to 1954. And this is these next three are going to kind of tie in together here. But the first one, 1954, December 31st, Pirates rookie Roberto Clemente has 3 spinal discs jarred when he is broadsided by a drunk driver who runs a red light traveling at 60 miles per hour. The car accident will cause the 21-year-old outfielder to have recurrent lower back pain for the remainder of his career. That
I never knew that
yeah,
about Clemente.
1954.
Wow, and he had an amazing career.
and you're not going to believe this, Dr. Eric, especially when I first read this too. That's very same date here at the end of 1972 is the same date Roberto Clemente is tragically killed when the 4-engine DC-7 plane he chartered to bring much-needed supplies to the victims of the Nicaraguan earthquake crashes in the Atlantic Ocean after taking off from the coast of Isla Verde. Manny Sanguillen will be the only Pirates player not to attend the memorial service, traveling to Puerto Rico to dive into the waters in an effort to recover his teammate's body.
Oh, and we all remember that. We all remember that. It was a terrible tragedy on a humanitarian mission. He was going to help people.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, it's kind of poetic that in his last at-bat in the 72 season, he got his 3,000th hit.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is amazing. I just can't believe those two things happened the same day.
I know.
That car accident, and then some odd, what is that? It's like, we got like 18 years later on the same date. That's amazing. But here's something, even though in tragedy, and this ties into our last one, we're not trying to bring it down on This Week in Baseball, but aid originally destined, this is 2004 now, excuse me, aid originally destined for Nicaragua in memory of the anniversary of Roberto Clemente's tragic flight 32 years ago will be sent instead to the earthquake and tsunami victims of Southern Asia. Roberto Clemente Jr., who with the help of Project Club Clemente collected 2 tons of supplies and raised nearly $20,000 in an effort to reenact his father's unfinished mission, decides to postpone the ceremonial flight and divert the relief to help those in desperate need of the here and now. And that's amazing, and that should touch all of our hearts there.
Yes, and Roberto Clemente Jr. absolutely doing exactly what his father would have wanted.
In memory of his father doing a wonderful thing there, and that's Roberto Clemente-centric this week in baseball.
Yes.
But we all know, fans of baseball love Roberto Clemente and know what just a tremendous baseball player he was, and his memory continues to live on with such acts like that,
yes,
and what he meant to the humanitarian aspect of baseball. So that is our This Week in Baseball for sure. So we're going to tie into the next segment as we close into the final stretch of our show. And it's a bit of a controversial topic that's in the news right now. And this is where we want some of your feedback, if you feel how you feel about these players' names mentioned in this. Some of the controversy that's happening in baseball. I know that it was something that was on the
Al Jazeera Network.
Al Jazeera Network,
Al Jazeera Network is a Middle Eastern CNN type of TV, and everyone in the Middle East watches it, and people in America get it on Dish TV and DirecTV. But how is Al Jazeera Network even getting involved in this? What kind of information do they get?
I know that, and I had mentioned Canton earlier, as not to make light of that, but speaking of the football, Peyton Manning's name discussed on there because of this Al Jazeera report. But what we're talking about is Major League Baseball players Ryan Howard, Ryan Zimmerman, and Taylor Teagarden all mentioned as well in these. And there was a statement by the attorney representing Howard and Zimmerman vehemently denying it, that, and this is a quote directly, "It's inexcusable and irresponsible that Al Jazeera would provide a platform and broadcast outright lies about Mr. Howard and Mr. Zimmerman. The extraordinary reckless claims made against our clients in this report are completely false and rely on a source who has already recanted his claims. We will go to court to hold Al Jazeera and other responsible parties accountable for smearing our clients' good names."
Again, I am amazed that the Al Jazeera Network is involved in this. They don't play baseball over there. It is irresponsible to me too.
And that's what I mean. What are your thoughts on it, fans? We want to get your thoughts at The Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Fast Pitch, where you should be messaging your trivia answers to Dr. Eric's question earlier, and let us know. Give us some feedback. Do you feel that there is some validity to these claims? Do you feel suspicious of both Ryan Howard and Ryan Zimmerman? Do you feel that those two players, as well as Taylor Teagarden, because they're mentioned, they must be guilty of something. Are you of the mind to do guilty until proven innocent, or are we to say, hey, give us some proof, give us some concrete proof, which is the way we really should operate, obviously, in this country.
Case, with that network, we don't know enough about their credibility, and I want to see concrete proof and concrete sources who will speak.
Yeah, and we want to get your thoughts on it, especially with controversy, unfortunately, that has surrounded baseball. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the controversies in the game, and is it ruining the integrity of the game? We want to hear from you fans. Let us know. That's our controversial topic of the week. And as we close and race towards home plate of this edition of the Fast Pitch, are you ready for one final cup of 2015?
I am
FFT?
ready for a hot cup of tea.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to talk basically as the football leagues round up and you start to prepare for your baseball league, Dr. Eric, we have a nice little treat for you next week. Our next show is 2016 preview show. And I think this is the place to be when you want to know what not only your team's doing, but we want to know what some of these individual players, they've moved around like chess pieces on a board. Who are you going to take based upon their new team? And that's the thing we're going to tell you next week on our 2016 preview show. We're going to give you some knowledge that may help you win your league
and
next
just
season.
A brief note on that. For example, Aroldis Chapman goes to the Yankees, and that takes the place of the other Yankees.
Stated outright, and this is as far as we know right now, there's no other trades on the horizon. Chapman is the closer of the Yankees, which means that bump, if you had Andrew Miller, boom, he's bumped up as a setup man once again. Betances, obviously, may move either right back to the 7th inning, or is he's going to be sharing 8th inning with Miller, depending on matchups.
That's certainly one of the strategies you've got to decide.
And I'm going to tell you from experience, I had Chapman last year as the closer of the Reds. Hard to get opportunities when he's pitching for a struggling team. Now he's on a Yankees team that's pretty safe to say that he's probably going to get a lot more save opportunities.
They will be in the race.
Yes, so that's the thing that you want to stay tuned to our show, Show 7, next week of our next show, which should drop next week for the Fast Pitch. We have a 2016 preview show. We will go through each and every major league team, tell you what they've done this offseason thus far, and get you prepared for your fantasy season, as well as we'll get you up to speed on anything baseball related.
Right.
And that's the place to be, right here on the Fast Pitch. So we're going to wind it up here, and we want to encourage you definitely to join us next week. And Dr. Eric, you got some final words for us here.
Yes, that's it for Game 6 of the Fast Pitch. And on behalf of MC Brown, myself, Eric Lenneberg, and our producer, Craig Best, have a very happy New Year, everyone, and be safe.
Happy and safe New Year. Thank you again to Craig Best, Facebook.com/The Best Station. Thank you all for listening, and have a wonderful and safe New Year.
Hi, this is Claudio of Electro Hysteria, and you are listening to Light Up on Best Station, because good music comes from all generations and eras.